I don't know how any of you guys are going and going and going. I know you gotta be at the same level of mental health as me. Every day it's something new.
I came up this evening from sitting up front because they wouldn't stop. They wouldn't leave me alone.
I've done everything I can. I'm trying to be a good man. I take care of my daughter. I take care of my wife. The best I can. I can't keep going. Every day it's something new.
Hello brothers and sisters, I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you're watching me from. Now, some of the white folks are not happy with the fact that black people are still doing well and their farms have not been bankrupted. Now, most of them are even going ahead to threaten the black community. If they are not coming out to help them in their farms, they are going to do something that is not very, very good to them. So let's watch this video, then have a really quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
So I saw a video of a guy who was talking about the farmers being upset that the liberals are wishing their demise, right? That we are not caring about their plight. And he made a very valid point, because these are the same people that said empathy is woke. And you know they want woke to be dead. So I don't know. It's like they want it both ways, right? Do you want us to be empathetic with a bleeding heart crying all the time? Or do you want us to be like, we don't care. That's not my problem. I mean, that's what you guys do. But I love that he wrote it in his little blurb. Empathy is woke. So what do you guys want from us? Do you want us to care about your plight? Listen, we care about your plight at this moment because we don't want to see you guys go out of business. We know that you put food on the table, but you're the same people crying that empathy is bad for America. It is too woke for you. So I don't know. It's so weird. You find yourself in a dilemma, don't you? If you see that video, please tag him in my video. Bye.
Hold on, so let me get this straight. The white farmers in Louisianans, they're mad because people of color won't come work on their farms for $11 an hour in 100-degree heat for 10 plus hours a day. Let me run that back. White farmers are mad. The very farmers that voted Republican, okay, they voted for this, are mad that people of color won't come work on their farms for $11 an hour in 100-degree heat for 10 plus hours a day. I'm saying you get what you ask for. Hey, it's FAFO type shit, okay? But hey, don't be fooled. I feel like it's gonna come to a point where they're finna make people get on their farms. Don't count me to it. Because if 2025 was a checklist, hey.
I'm out here in the farm fields of Illinois. This is a bean field that just turned brown in mid-September. And there's a lot of concern over where the product that these farmers in Illinois have raised is going to be going and what kind of price they'll get for the crops they've raised. I grew up in this area. I went to Little Cayman High School. It's about 2 miles north of here. And I went to school with all the farm kids, and I even grew up in eastern Pennsylvania and went to school with Amish and Mennonite kids in Lancaster County. And growing up, I had an uncle who ran a farm in upstate New York. So I have some history with an empathy for farmers, because I watch how hard they work to get this crop on the ground, and its timing, and the rains in spring, whether they come or not. One year it was too wet, the next year it's too dry. It's tough being a farmer. But what's even tougher is growing all this crops and having all the equipment and debt you need to be a farmer, and then be cast aside by things like tariffs. And that's what's so confusing to me. The people out here in farm country, a lot of them have Trump signs in their lawns. There's a huge one up the road here. When I'm cycling over the summer, I see them all over the place. probably see 10 to 20 in a 40-mile ride. And that indicates to us that farmers are big into Republican values, and that's the other side of the coin here. You know, what is the ideology driving people to want to be Republican? Well, over the centuries, you know, that we've had farming here in the United States, there's been a lot of deception by conservatives. You know, the Dust Bowl came about because people were told to go on out, God will help you, and rain will follow the plow. And that was a lie. And what we wound up with is agricultural conditions that basically turned the entire Great Plains to dust. And there's sort of a similar thing going on in Illinois in many states, because soils are not in a great condition here either. And there's just sort of been this profit-oriented idea that it's your job to go and grind up the soil and get what you can out of it, get the best price for it, and we'll take care of the rest. You know, it's that classic sort of go, go, go ideology that people pride themselves on in America. But, you know, sustainability is a real problem. That's true in terms of economic markets, where a lot of crops from the United States are sold to other countries, for example, China. And now we've imposed tariffs on China, and guess who winds up paying the price? It's Illinois and Iowa and Wisconsin and Missouri and Nebraska and all these farmers that, you know, work their lives trying to sustain their crop output every year. And Trump doesn't care about those people, but what he does do, and this is sort of his method, he has never had a good grasp of forecasting policy. He bankrupted casinos, for instance, right? And many of his businesses failed, and those that did sort of succeed were dependent on creative bookkeeping. The guy is not a good planner. He could never be a good farmer. He sucks at everything he does. But somehow he came up with this let's do something about our markets idea with tariffs, and they've never been proven to work. And right now, something like 86 to 90% of the tariffs are being absorbed not by foreign companies, but by Americans paying higher product prices. And the farmers are the ones that get kicked right in the nuts. And what does Trump do? He uses taxpayer money to pay them off for the fuck-ups that he did. And that's the sick aspect of it. And all these guys with Trump signs out here, they're happy to ask for handouts now when many of them apparently don't like, you know, the idea that immigration people come here and, oh, they're using our tax dollars. Blame immigrants for everything. Well, guess what? A lot of our farm production, especially things like fruits and vegetables and everything, are reliant on immigrant workers.
Okay, we are going to have a little chat. While Charlie Kirk was alive, he devoted an awful lot of airtime to demonizing black people, blaming us for everything, and stoking white outrage against us. Then somebody makes him finally lean to the left, and then his MAGA supporters decide to blame it on black people and start sending in kaboom threats to historically black colleges and universities. And then, shockingly, for an assassination that happened in Utah, turns out it looks like it was a white dude named Tyler. Okay? So what you're going to find as you fart around on the interwebs and the TikTok and whatnot for the next few days is that for quite some time, black folks have had a particular issue with not only Mr. Charlie, but for some of these progressive influencers who've been doing one of these for him, like the Dean Withers. And like even kind of the good trouble, not quite so much as the Dean Withers, but you understand that what you saw happen with HBCUs receiving kaboom threats, and a bunch of people with this shade and darker being put on this weird website that's designed to target Charlie's Earth. It had a disproportionate number of us on it, despite the fact that we had nothing to do with this, and most of us don't know who he is and couldn't distinguish him from Ben Shapiro. Okay, so you're going to notice us having a particular one of these reactions to the progressive types that are doing one of these for the recently departed CK, whose words and actions are the reason that his supporters were threatening and executing violence against us for something we had nothing to do with. Stop crying for him, you prick. He spent his career dehumanizing us and encouraging stochastic terrorism against black people. Stop crying. Okay?
So the people who say no handouts just lined up for a handout. Now tell me why farmers in Arkansas are standing outside with their hands out again, begging Uncle Sam for money. See, when it's regular people struggling, rent too high, groceries too ridiculous, can't afford health care, the answer is always from these people: stop complaining, stop asking for handouts, and pull yourself up by your bootstrap. Farmers in Arkansas are crying out to the feds for stimulus money like it's open mic night. And look, I get it, because times are hard everywhere. When you plant your crops, raise your cattle, take on the risks of farming, I mean, wasn't that a personal business decision? So why is it on me and you to make sure that that decision keeps paying out? Because see, when you and I make bad decisions, government doesn't cut us a check to make it right for us. Now, let's connect the dots here a little bit. These are the same people voting for the same politicians who say government is the problem. Yet as soon as the tractors stop running and their profits dry up, government magically turns into a solution for them. Ain't that funny and ironic? The question is, do we owe farmers any help? Or do they need to practice what they preach? Figure it out. Tighten that belt. Leave taxpayers out of it. Because last I checked, it's really not our problem to fix somebody else's gamble.
As a black farmer, I hear white farmers ask all the time, where is all the money for farmers? Well, let me tell you, white farmer, where all the money went. It's in the poppy fields of Afghanistan, in the oil fields of Iraq. It's also in the jungles of freaking Vietnam. That's where it's at. It's exactly where you keep voting for it to be. It's in Israel. Did you know that in Israel, there's an NYPD headquarters in Tel Aviv? Why in the hell is an American police agency in a foreign country? You know, your tax dollars, your farm money is being loaded in 155 meter shells for Ukraine right now. For white on white crime in Europe between Putin and Zelensky, which has nothing at all to do with me, but I'm paying for it. And that's where all your money is going for. It's going towards whatever you keep voting for. So it's called karma. You're suffering it right now.
Regarding all these farmers that are now crying about possibly losing their farms because they voted for Trump, this is why you absolutely should not feel bad for any of these farmers that voted for Trump. Now, the ones that didn't vote, yes, feel sorry for them, go support them, do whatever you need to do. But the ones that voted for Trump, do not feel sorry for them, and let me tell you why. I am a builder, and I've been building shit in Oklahoma City going on like 20 years now, and farmers are not stupid. If you have the ability to manage a farm and understand the weather, the climate, your machinery, the chemistry that goes into your crops, you are not a stupid person. You're just not. And especially when you come from generational farming, you have the ability to look ahead and predict what you need to survive. And so when you have two candidates where you have Kamala Harris on one side giving you a whole fucking list of shit that she's going to do for you and make your life better, and then you have Trump on the other side who can't even come out with a normal sounding sentence, and you still vote for that guy, and you are a farmer, you are either racist, or sexist or both. And they're only crying now because now they are being treated exactly how they voted for other people to be treated. Got that? They are being treated how they voted for other minorities, people of color, everybody else, poor people, sick people. That's how they voted for other people to be treated. And now they're the ones being treated that way by losing their livelihood, their homes, their income, their farms. So do not feel sorry for them. This is exactly what they had coming. Quick follow-up as to why exactly would Trump be doing this to farmers anyways? And I'm guessing 99% chance it's because he wants to bankrupt farms so his corporate buddies can come in and do a land grab. Basically what you have been seeing the last few years, major companies buying up a bunch of rental houses and jacking up the price of rents, and it's all going to corporations. It's probably something similar to let these farms go to foreclosure and his corporate buddies be able to come in, swoop them up, and now you've got bigger companies involved in more of our day-to-day food.
Hey, you know, one more thing about that farm thing. Those farmers complaining about how the Trump's trade war is hurting farms. And not just China, even though China no longer buys U.S. beef, that's gone to Brazil. They no longer buy U.S. soybeans. They don't buy a bunch of other agricultural products from us because they can source them elsewhere. And these farmers are all over these apps whining and crying that they didn't think it would hurt them. And please, Mr. Trump, I voted for you 3 times, and all this kind of bootlicking kind of BS. The other thing about that is, like I said in my other video, excuse me, there's a particular relationship, black people and farms in this country, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. The other thing is, do you remember during the Biden-Harris administration, their administration worked out a settlement with black farmers to pay them back pay for excluding them from bailout money that they were entitled to. The money only went to white farmers, and so black farmers, that's the way it is in this country, had to sue to get their fair share. And after years of court wrangling in the courts and everything, it was finally settled and black farmers were going to get their due. Sorry, my allergies. And you know why they didn't get their due? Sorry about that. Because white farmers sued to block the government settlement that they had made with black farmers. And white farmers sued saying that the white farmers, were being discriminated against for not getting some of the black settlement money. The black settlement money was because only white farmers got some of the initial bailout money, not black farmers. That's how twisted it is. So to the white farmers online whining about loss of business, threats to having their farms shut down and shut off, I say, fare thee well, good sirs. Fare thee well. You got what you got. You get what you get. You don't pitch a fit. You voted for Donald Trump, and you know what? He is working you over because the big conglomerates, some I hear I've read are owned by J.D. Vance or his companies, are about to buy up your land for pennies on the dollar. And you're going to be one picking those blueberries for $11 an hour, 7 days a week, for 10 hours a day. Literally, how you like them apples?
Why do people, and let me be clear, I have empathy, right, for people that are going through things because life be life. I've been through things. I don't know anybody that has not been through things. All right. So that goes without saying. Okay, your son got type 1, your grandparent or your parent died or whatever like that. Man, condolences out to you. But then there's always that other part, because we ignore that other part because the person is super emotional. Aside from the fact that the person is crying on the internet, I don't understand this. I don't understand picking up your phone and then crying to the internet. I don't know what that does. I don't know if you're looking for somebody to hit your Cash App or whatever. Always going to link back to the content creator. But the fact of the matter is there some self-inflicted wounds in there. $2,500 a month rent, and apparently you're a single mother, which then lends me to the next question. Where's the father? And why aren't you with them? Because this just proves that women cannot do it alone. When men tend to go through things, and don't get me wrong, I do see men crying on this app and stuff like that, but when men tend to go through things, we eat that shit, we suffer it up, and then we just take our lot in life, and either we come up out of it or we take the L. I've never seen more women in my lifetime crying on the internet because of their life circumstances when it's still some self-inflicted wounds that go into that. $2,500 a month rent, and you're a single mother apparently is wild to me. Now, obviously, I know that there are circumstances that are beyond people, right? When you talk about some widows or you talk about some other things. But 10 years of school, in what exactly? You know what I'm saying? It's almost like women have this one-track mind. It's like, okay, if I go to school, then I'm supposed to be well off. Never mind, I'm supposed to make sure that I don't take out a whole bunch of student loans. Never mind the fact that I am supposed to make sure I go into a curriculum that is going to be conducive for my life. Like if you went to school for 10 years in order to be an anesthesiologist, I think you'll be all right now. You still got to make sure that you are financially literate and you're not blowing a bag. But I think that you will be all right, right? But if you go to school for 10 years for, let's say, liberal arts and theater, or you get a master's degree in something irrelevant, gender studies or some dumb shit. I always like to call it underwater basket weaving degree. Then that's a self-inflicted wound. You know what I'm saying? And then people keep blaming the society told us that we were supposed to do this. And now all of a sudden I'm not able to make it. What is life? Like nobody owes you anything. We don't take into account how we vote and our liberal ways and the cities that we live in and how highly you get taxed and, you paying without representation and, again, living in $2,500 of rent when you're a single mother and all of this stuff, because we have a luxury mindset and we don't even realize because we feel like we're old because that's the standard of what a lot.
Hey guys, it's Will, your favorite rural campaign and elections expert. Listen, every time I do a video on farming and ranching, I get some version of the following message in my comment section. Well, it's your fault you voted for him. FAFO. You're getting what you deserve, etc., etc., etc. Well, the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is take a few minutes to watch my videos, okay? Because if you do that, you're going to know right off the bat that I didn't vote for Donald Trump. I'm a farmer, and I didn't vote for Donald Trump. And there are thousands and thousands and thousands of farmers out there just like me who did not vote for Donald Trump. And listen, guys, I get the whole FAFO response. The fact that 70% of farmers and ranchers voted for Donald Trump, and now the policies that he's implementing are devastating to small farmers and farm ranchers in this country. And I totally understand the response of saying they're getting what they deserve. It's their fault. FAFO. All I'm asking you to do is take a minute to think through the ramifications of that attitude, though. That's all I'm asking you to do. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm not telling you you're right. I'm just asking you to think through the ramifications of that way of thinking. Would you hold everyone else to the same standard? Would you say that because a large number of white women in this country voted for Donald Trump, then everybody should suffer the consequences who's a female in this country? Would you say that because a large number of young black men voted for Donald Trump, that all African Americans should suffer the consequences of what Donald Trump does to harm them? I'm just asking you to give the same grace to the American farmer and rancher that you would give to anyone else in this country. And I'm not talking about grace in the religious sense. I'm talking about grace in the human sense, okay? I'm just saying to you that when somebody admits that they made a bad decision, when farmers and ranchers slowly begin to admit, and they're doing it now, guys, I see it every day in my comments when I post these videos. When they're willing to step up and say, I made a mistake in voting for Donald Trump, then you've got a choice. And the choices are simple. The first choice is to say, sorry, FAFO, I don't care. You're suffering the consequences of your vote. The other side of that coin is to offer just a little bit of grace. Why do I think we should do that? Because we've got to get 12 to 14 million people that sat on the couch in this last election to get up off their butts and go to the polls in 2 years.
Hello, brothers and sisters. I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from now. We've been seeing a large number of MAGA farmers and white folks crying here and there about the state of the economy. Now, most of them, it must be remembered, they went to the ballot to vote for most of the things that are happening right now. Most of them went to vote for deportations, and the deportations are now happening, and it is kind of they don't love it anymore. Now, as I've always been saying that really most people do want to punish their enemies, that they believe this is not my friend, this is my enemy. Now, they do go to the ballot to punish them. Most of the people vote for policies that are not directly meant to benefit them, but to hurt those who are not their friends or those who they disagree with politically. Now, we should be very, very good at learning. Now, most of the people who vote, they do these things recurrently. Most of the time they vote, it doesn't work out on them, then they vote again to try. Now, they voted for deportations. They voted for the things that are happening in the US right now. They are very pissed off because whatever they wanted is not whatever is happening. Most of them wanted to see the black community together with the African Americans being deported back to their countries. Now, I shared a video about where do you deport the black community to. These are the people who have been in the United States for around 400 years. They belong here by both naturalization or by any other means that the Constitution stipulates. Now, these things have been happening for quite a while. The farmers are now going bankrupt. Most of them, they're now turning to the same people for help. They're turning their eyes and their everything, their hope to the same black community they didn't want to see. Now, let it not be forgotten that most of them thought these deportations were not going to affect them. It must be remembered that during elections, most of those who went to vote for MAGA, Make America Great Again, they hoped that everything else they were voting was going to affect those people and not them. Now, it has turned, things are turning out not the way they expected. Now, see, most of them are losing their jobs. Most of them, they are losing their farms. Most of them are now bankrupt. Now, they are crying to the black community to come and help them pick blueberries. Now, most of them are very frustrated, and they are even threatening the black community. If they don't come to pick blueberries, if they don't come to help them in the farms, or if their farms continue doing the way they are doing right now, they will do something bad. Now, let's not forget that when the black community really needed someone to come and talk on their behalf, when they needed someone during the time of George Floyd, when they did want someone to talk on their behalf all this time, no one showed up. It really surprises me that many people expect the black community to start speaking on their behalf, to be their spokesperson at this moment, when most of the people have never been there when the black community really wanted them to be there or to speak on their behalf or to help them protest against police brutality, protest against all the dirty things that have been done to them over these years. But the same people who have never stood with the same black community now want the black community by a single call to respond to all their wishes or to all their problems and help them sort them out at top. I'm very glad that most of the black community is now minding their business, because they have always gotten themselves into problems just by trying to help others. Those who have never been there to help them. Now, most people in the US have been manipulated politically to think that that a certain race is very great and it can never be affected by or with the things that are happening in the US. Now look at them. The same people who are told they're great are the same people who are now crying out because of the tariffs. They are crying out because of the political manipulation that they have had for a very long time. Let it be remembered that most of the people thought voting all these things, voting against the people who have helped them build this country, is going to make them great, is going to make their community and their country great. Is it now great? That's a question to you. Is it great that you're having tariffs hit to you very hard? Is it great that you can't sell your soybeans to China? Is it great that you can't afford food commodities and basic commodities at the groceries? Is it basic, or is it great again that your farms are going bankrupt? You yourself, you're going bankrupt. People are now calling for bailouts, from the government. They want the same government that is oppressing them to consider them in bailouts. These are the things that we've been talking for a very long time, that people won't change. The only thing they do is to gaslight those who do not actually agree with them on some of the things. But as a matter of fact, I'm very, very happy that most of the Black community is learning, and they are now very, very keen on the things that are happening, not to make the wrong decisions anymore. When you make a lot of bad decisions, that's when you learn the most. But when you make a lot of bad decisions without learning, then you are considered a fool. You must be in a position to learn from mistakes, and you must not repeat the same mistakes for a very long time. You must not do the same things hoping, or because someone else told you that your country is great, your skin color is great, and the people of your community are great. Now you go to vote to make them great. Now see whatever is happening to you. The Black community is remaining silent. All that you wished for has not happened. You wished for deportations. They are happening, but not the way you expected, because the God that the Black people serve don't work the way you think. They don't work with a lot of hate, the way some people carry hate on some races, with the way some people are like, they feel like they are very supreme because of their color, and they're the only one who matter. So when they go bankrupt, the whole country should shut down and listen to them. When tariffs hit them hard, the tariffs they voted for, they want the Black community to come out of their dens and start talking about the same thing. When they can't sell their soybeans to China, they want it to be a very big topic and the whole world to hear about it. But when the Black people go through police brutality, when they go through so many oppressions, when they can't go to some places or get some jobs because of racial or segregation, no one talks about this. When Jim Crow laws were being implemented in the US, no one helped the Black community to talk. Now, why or how or what makes you believe that the Black community is going to stand with you during this time after you voted against your own interests? You know that most MAGA supporters believe that Black Americans receive a lot of special treatment from the government because they are the minority. Now, they don't know that most of the welfare is given to the white community. Now, I saw that 78% of the welfare is given to the white community. And these benefits are whatever has led to white supremacy battles and whatever has led to white privileges. Now, We have social programs and affirmative actions that most white people believe that they're being given to the black community, but that's not true. Now, when undocumented immigrants are deported, but black Americans obviously remain, some MAGA supporters twist the logic into why are they going after illegals? Why are they going after illegals but not dealing with the problems in black neighborhoods? You know, most of the people believed that the black community is the problem, and that maybe taking some of them out of America was going to settle the problems America is having. They have forgotten that it is the black people who worked so hard without payments. That's why they've been asking for reparations for a very long time to make the US great. Now, let's remember, without the black people, who even knew about USA? USA has only become great because of the slave trade that happened, you know. Everyone knows that it has been built on the backs of the black community. And that's why you've heard Donald Trump admitting that. Donald Trump has said that, yes, we do agree that our country was built on your backs, but we are sorry for that, you know. And there is this mentality that you are next, the black people are next, that after all this deportation, the black people are next, but they keep on seeing the black people thriving. And that's why they are very, very saddened. Some of them, I do not say, this should be a disclaimer, of course. I've not said everyone is racist. I've not said everyone is bad, but there are some of the people in the white community who are very, very racist. Some of them do not want to see the excellence or the success of the black community. That's why they're giving out warnings to the black community. If they do not support them, then they're going to do this or they're going to do that. That's very bad. Let's unite. We are all people of the human race. That's whatever I've always been preaching about, that it doesn't matter if you're white, black, red, Indian. You're all people of the same race. Thank you so much. May you have a very nice time.